Well, I had the privilege of spending 10 years in Youth for Christ, 1955 to 1965. While I was in college, Al Metzger stopped by and spoke I think in one of our chapels, and then did some interviews, and I just went in because he said, if you're interested in youth work, come and talk to me, and out of that I ended up then later, after I had graduated, getting a call from Al inviting me to their training school in Kansas City, and went there in the fall of '55 and went through the school, and Al then invited me to stay and work in their program in Kansas City, which I did for 2 years. Did clubs and worked with the rally down at 9th Street on Saturday nights, and during that time met my wife at Winona Lake at the national conference. Gene French and Ken Overstreet sat down with me and said, could we talk, and offered me a job in California. And I think at that age, I thought California, you know, and out of that invitation, I then came to Southern California and went to work in Roy McEwen's organization and had our offices at 6530 Sunset Boulevard, which I thought I had died and gone to glory, and until I found out that I had 21 schools in the San Fernando Valley, and I couldn't even find them. So I had a kind of a wild time there. Then Roy McEwen one day sat me down and said, I have a wonderful opportunity for you. and he said, we're picking these target cities, which I was aware of, and he said, I want you to go to Salt Lake City and pick up on that as a target city to get Youth for Christ going in Salt Lake. The last night I was in LA Youth for Christ was a big night. We had a couple thousand people in Church of the Open Door, and the next Saturday night I had my first rally in Salt Lake with 57 people, and it was a big change. But we ran into some wonderful people there, and I found that doing a normal kind of club thing just didn't work there. I mean, it was so strongly Mormon, but by getting special guests who Keith Wegeman, who was an Olympic ski jumper. I had Keith come and he put on a demonstration and then spoke, and we'd get 200-300 kids to come to those because they all loved to ski and knew the name at that time, Keith Wegeman, and so we found that those kind of things worked very well in Salt Lake. And then the other thing that drew good crowds were the Billy Graham films. It was a good experience. Then after we were there a couple of years, I had the opportunity to come back to Southern California and went to work for Jerry Clippert, who was running Orange County, Long Beach, Orange County, kind of together. And so I then got involved in the Long Beach and the Orange County programs, and that was where I met Paul Silheimer. That's where we first met. He was a senior in high school, and we did a little leadership thing up in a little mountain town called Wrightwood, and there was a place there called Acorn Lodge. Had never been there before and never been there since, but we went there and took, I don't remember, probably 50 some kids, and just had a great 3 or 4 days together. Paul played piano really well, and we'd sing and enjoy and then teach, and that's kind of where the two of us first met. And then we've kind of been buds ever since, and worked together there, and then worked together at Forest Home, the conference center, and then when I came here to the church in 1988, I came down when Chuck Swindoll was here and Paul was on staff here, and we began to work together again, and stayed here for 12 years.